Now we're up to 9 locations in 5 states doing $60 million in revenues this year. A long ways from a 1 location, 12 people doing 5 or 6 million. I had to part ways with some fairly talented employees who weren't willing to be part of an organization that had that discipline to it.
Sometimes it's not that they couldn't, they just don't want to. They don't want to work that hard. They don't want to exert in that way. They don't want to push too hard. They don't want to. It's a desire problem more than a capacity problem.
And successful in building an organization that is going to last, provide a platform for my employees to thrive. I needed to get to bring my 2 sons into the business.
Well, hey, everybody, and welcome back to a fantastic episode of Scaling the Gap. I have here with me on the show someone who I have known for many a moon. We met, I actually will never forget, one of the very first conversations we had was in a bus on the way to a site visit, I think, at a trade show. And I've always remembered that conversation really stayed with me because early on in my consulting career, and I am so delighted to welcome to the show, Rick Locke. Rick, welcome.
Thank you, Madeleine. I remember that bus ride as well. It was a fabulous conversation.
It really was. There are sometimes those conversations that you have because you never know who you're going to chat with on a bus or if you're going to talk to anyone or if it's going to be awkward the whole way. And we just had like the best business chat ever. And I will always remember it. So I'm so delighted. I'm glad it was memorable for you too. Wonderful.
Well, at that time, I was a new business owner and I had just come from the corporate world and I was taking it all in and understanding the differences. And you were a great sounding board for that.
I love that.
It helped me understand both what I was experiencing and what I had to look forward to as a small business owner.
I love it. And since that time, you have done fabulous things in your work, in your career, in your business building. So why don't you share with our audience a little bit about who you are today and the work you do in this world?
I say fabulous. And I think people use that because I've experienced tremendous growth with my business.
Sure.
I think we use that metric a lot in business as how much revenues do you generate, how you're profitable, et cetera. And we've had good success at that over, let's see, it's 2013 when I purchased my first business here in Seattle. And my intent after leaving the corporate world was just to have a job, someplace to keep me out of trouble, something that I could work on every day and, provide a car and some expense account and benefits, of course. And it didn't happen that way. In fact, we had some real early success and grew the business dramatically and then had some more acquisition opportunities, grew those businesses. And now we're up to 9 locations in 5 states doing $60 million in revenues this year. A long ways from a 1 location, 12 people doing 5 or 6 million.
Yeah.
So it's been a fun ride. And that's just in 12 years.
Yes, that's why I say fabulous. I think you guys would agree with me. That's pretty fabulous, right? It's a fantastic story. And also, one of the things that I'm passionate about is let's not forget what got you there first, right? You talked about I was leaving a corporate career. So you arrived on the scene purchasing a business, first of all. It did not start from, your garage.
That's
you
right.
purchased a business and you came with really high level business acumen and extremely clear on what you needed and wanted in your business in terms of metrics and data and organizational structures. So you brought some really strong business acumen to the table, which you then leveraged to take advantage of these incredible growth opportunities, which I think is important for people to know.
Really, for me, the secret sauce I was able to bring. And I didn't realize the impact it would have. I didn't realize how much it was missing in small business.
Yes.
And I'll never forget the excitement that employees had when we were sitting down and agreeing on a set of KPIs that they would be measured on for a bonus.
Yes.
I know exactly what I've got to do to accomplish what it is you're expecting of me. And I've never had that in my job before. And it was pretty easy stuff because in the corporate world, you do that. That's just as a matter of course.
Of course. Yeah.
Those things became prizes, but certainly levers that I could use then to bring some structure, some discipline, comfort to employees and the companies.
Yes. Yeah. And that's one of the things that we were having that chat in the bus all those years ago. I saw that immediately that, you're going to bring this, because one of the passions when I first started my first consulting firm over a decade ago was that I saw what was going on in the corporate world and how effortless those KPIs and those performance reviews and bonus calculations were. And then in small business, like you said, like you had people like, I never have even had that before, right? I've been doing my job for a long time. No one ever told me what they wanted me to actually do.
Yeah.
right? And that gap, it's why scaling the gap, here it is still today. Like that gap is so unnecessary, but it's simply a matter of information and implementation, right? People don't know about it and they don't know how to apply it in their own small business environment.
Yeah. Now, and for most people, it's well received. I have had
Right.
employees that say, hey, if I wanted to do that stuff, I'd be at a corporation.
Sure.
I'd be at a
Sure.
company. I'd be down the street at so and so.
Right.
And then, okay, it may or may not work for them. And I had
Sure.
to part ways with some fairly talented employees who weren't willing to be part of an organization that had that discipline to it.
Right.
A lot of people find a place to hide in a small business because there's often a lot of autonomy.
Right. And I mean, we were talking about that in the green room, that hiring people and giving a really clear understanding of who they are, having a clear understanding of what you need and who they are and do they fit. And when they're a bad fit, having enough courage to walk away from even a great potential hire, it's going to save you so much in the long run, because hiring someone who doesn't want to be involved in a business with that much discipline and structure, they're going to be a fly in the ointment every single day of your life.
Right. Yeah. You don't need the drama.
Don't need the drama. Yeah, that's right. Drama-free zone up in here.
That's right.
Rick runs a drama-free business.
Well, for the most part.
We aspire to run a drama.
Funny how it has a way of creeping in every once in a while, but I will count myself lucky that that's not something they deal much with.
Yeah.
We've got, as I mentioned, 9 locations in 5 states here in the Pacific Northwest: Washington, Oregon, Idaho, Montana, Wyoming. They're very different. And so the people are different and the people's expectations are different. And it's a learning experience for me to understand what motivates people in those different environments. And it sometimes is challenging to try to find synergies across all those locations. And when I try to do integration of all of those into a common business has been challenging. In some areas, we operate each location independently because they address certain segments of the market. They have certain unique products that they sell. And trying to change that would probably take away their success.
Yeah.
That's not what I want to do.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, you want to build on what's successful and you want to build through or build a bridge over the difficulties, right? And sometimes finding that, like, what is that golden thread that runs through? Maybe there's only one thread or 2 threads. Maybe it's not an entire tapestry in every single one. Well, that's okay, right? So you mentioned, the people, their expectations, the product lines, all really different. But what also is different is the consumers that they serve and who they're selling to. And if there's a mismatch between your ideal client and you're just missing them because you're bringing something that's foreign to them, then you're going to struggle to continue to replicate the success that the company was built on.
And when we can find those synergies, it's powerful. Grow the business and create more success in those markets.
Yeah, love it. Love it. Well, I said a little word I dropped in just a second ago. I said product, and you mentioned product, and I promised you that we would geek out a little bit on product today. So one of the things we don't usually do it on the show, for those of you who are loyal listeners, this is something a little different today. I would love to give you a chance, Rick, to geek out a little bit here on some of these products that have in the fenestration industry that are really captivating your interest because you have such passion for them. And I just wanted you to share a little bit. So tell us a little bit about what is it that's keeping you engaged with this new product development that you're participating in?
Well, I appreciate that. Yeah, we do windows and doors. And I'm pretty sure all of your listeners have windows and doors, things that you don't do without.
Yeah.
It's also something a lot of people take for granted, but it's a unique product that has unique capabilities that is continuing to change. And it's throughout our lives, materials are becoming more innovative in what they can do. And then the application of those materials to products, helping those products perform better or function better for what it is we expect them to do. For windows and doors, performance becomes a big thing around energy consumption, the ability to block glare, the ability to change. And that's what the new materials are allowing us to do, is have dynamic windows that can change based on how much light is outside, how much heat might be coming through, and they'll change. They'll darken. Their density can change to allow more or less light to come through, more or less heat to come through. So all of a sudden, that window that was forever a static point in your wall is dynamic and is adjusting the amount of light and the amount of heat coming in and out to make a very comfortable environment for you inside that space.
Yeah.
We're seeing it first and foremost in the commercial applications, but now starting to see it following in residential applications as well.
Yeah, that's so cool. That reminded me of is when my mom first got a pair of glasses
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
that you'd walk outside and your glasses darken. Right now they're taking what you could do in this teeny tiny little frame of your glasses and applying even more advanced technology in the window so that the window is actually responding to the environment that's changing on the exterior of the house. That's
That's right.
so
The
cool.
technologies are very similar. Photochromic in your glasses changes based
Yes.
on exposure to ultraviolet light.
Yep.
Electrochromic, we have photochromic in window applications, but we also have
Love it.
electrochromic, where we can actually use a control mechanism to lighten or brighten based on how much light there is and what a sensor tells it to do. Computer
Mm.
controlled glass.
I love it. I love that. That's so cool. So my corporate career was at Somfy Systems, and we were all about having control systems that operate
Yeah.
the attachments to openings, right? So that was the shades, the screens, the shutters on the exterior or the interior that would respond to what's going on. And now it's the glass itself is getting
Exactly the
smart.
same thing, but actually doing it to the glass
I
itself.
love it. I
Yeah,
love
so
it.
that's fun. We're having fun with that. And our markets, we do high-end homes. And
Mhm.
so we're in some markets where people are willing to be early adopters and spend
Yeah.
a little extra money today to get some of those technologies applied to their windows.
Yeah. Super cool. It must be so rewarding to be on the cutting edge of that and to start to get to see these real life applications of what used to look like sci-fi.
It really is.
Yeah.
I had a point in my career where I did sell those types of products with minimal sizes and capacities available. And
Sure.
now they've come past that and they become mainstream. So
Love
it's
it.
really fun.
I really love it. That's so exciting. And you live in a really dynamic environment, right? Like you could have something super sunny and super cloudy. Like there's such a you have all the seasons, right?
That's
It's
right.
going to be really impactful for your consumers, both commercially and residentially.
That's
So
right.
I love it. I love it. So I think that this staying on the cusp of product development's always been part of your passion inside of your business. Isn't that right?
That's right. I think it's one of the things that motivated me to own a business. And it also motivates me to be involved in associations. I'm currently the chairman of the National Glass Association Board of Directors. And my motivation to do that is partly to give back, to be part of a great organization, but partly to have a great seat at the table to see the cool stuff coming down the road. Just love that. And then I can bring it back to my businesses. I can bring it back to my salespeople, to our customers, and help them understand what some of the capabilities are of the products that we sell.
I love it. So that's one of the delights. Did you expect that coming into the business, that this would be one of the delights of your business
I did
development?
not. I
Yeah.
did not.
I love that. The unexpected delights of business ownership is one of the, could fill a book, right? Maybe one day I will. It's a pretty exciting thing because you could never have guessed it, right? You wouldn't have thought, oh my gosh, I'm going to really geek out on fenestration products when you were evaluating what type of business you wanted to buy all those years ago. So I really love that. And I'm curious, are there any of those unexpected hurdles? I know you talked about the integration of the culture of the various companies that you have and the different locations that you have, but was there anything else along your journey that was one of those unexpected hurdles that you got surprised by?
People, different types of people in small business are in the corporate world.
Mm,
Motivations, different work ethics, different expectations. And that took some change on my part. I managed a high performance sales team at a large corporation that was, a worldwide sales team, very successful. Coming to a local market with a sales team that was just focused on a very finite world was a real change.
yeah.
And expectations of what people would or wanted to accomplish.
That's right. It's the both would and wanted to, right? Sometimes it's not that they couldn't, is they just don't want to. They don't want to work that hard. They don't want to exert in that way. They don't want to push too hard. They don't want to. It's a desire problem more than a capacity problem.
That's exactly
Yeah.
right. Yeah. That comes back to understanding, what motivates people, makes people tick. You
Mhm.
and I talked a little bit earlier about the values cards that I use in my hiring practice.
Yes.
That's really important for me to understand what motivates people that I'm hiring.
Yeah.
Often, if somebody gets to me for an interview, of course, they've got the skill set to do what the job requirements are.
Sure.
But who are they? What motivates them? What do they value in
Yeah.
life? Those are really important things to understand about somebody prior to hiring. It plays into how hard they're going to work, what balance they're going to be looking for, what their culture is going to be like, how they're going to interact with other people. It's
Yeah.
a really good opportunity for me to get to know people better.
Right. And what Rick is mentioning is that we're chatting in the green room that he has a deck of 52 cards, but on each one of the cards, it's values, different types of values. And he asks his candidates to divide the deck in half, things that what they're setting aside and what they want, and then to continue to do it till they're down to about top 8, top 10-ish. And then you have a really robust conversation about how come these ones withstood the purge every time and why does it really matter? And it really allows that more inner component part of those motivations and desires to shine out without having to ask leading questions.
It's powerful. I've had people in tears, not on purpose, but because it is emotional to dig into what some of those things are. Honest, trust, love, compassion. Those are all things that motivate us. And when you start talking about why they motivate you personally, individually, it can go real, real deep.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. And I mean, it can come from a beautiful place and it can come from a place of pain as well, right? Because all humans pursue pleasure and avoid pain, right? So it could be that they had a really painful experience that they don't want to replicate, or they had a really fantastic experience that they're looking to replicate. So I'm sure that's where some of those tears can be brought into bear.
Right. That's exactly right.
Exactly. Rick making people cry in interviews. Gotta love it. By accident, not by design.
Well, you want to hire real people.
That's right. Sure. You do. You really do. And we call it with working with our clients, we call it their WIFMs, right? You know, the what's in it for me. Often it's used in marketing, often it's used for consumers, but we actually do what's in it for me with our team. And every one of our clients is required to know what are the WIFMs for each one of their major team members. And then each one of the managers is required to know the WIFMs for each one of their team members. What is genuinely in it for them? What do they truly desire? Why are they working? What do they want? And sometimes it's really simple things, right? We had one of our clients, they're going through this deep dive process with us. It's a 2-day deep dive, how we initiate our work with all of our clients. And it was a client with his executive leadership team. And one of his executive leaders wanted us to model the WIFM process right then and there for him because he just had to know. And he's like, okay, I'll do it. And so I did a WIFM process right then and there with him, just on the fly. And this man was, again, in tears, talking about tear jerking people, was in tears because he was saying, life is passing me by and I have a son who I really want to teach guitar to. And I'm working so many hours and guitar lessons are at 4:30 on a Thursday. And I just can't seem to leave in time to make it happen. And it's really affecting me in my heart and my soul because I feel like I'm doing a disservice to my son. And this happened in this little WIFMs meeting right in the middle of our deep dive. And, the owner was like, well, we're fixing that immediately. Every Thursday from now on, you're leaving the office at 3:45. So you have time to go home, get your son and take him to a lesson. It was like we handed him $100,000. It was like we gave him a golden ticket. There was no amount of money that could have exchanged hands in that moment that created more loyalty, more goodwill, and helped that man feel seen and deeply cared about because what he was modeling was his value was family, personal connection to his family. And it was time. And it was something that the owner had in his capacity to give. And it happened like that.
And I think most business owners want to be able to reward people or support those motivations of their employees, but often they don't know what they are.
That's right. That's
because
right.
we don't get that deep into those values and motivations of individual employees. So
that's right.
The process.
Right?
Love it.
Yeah. And you dig down, you don't take the first answer because people are going to dance on the surface. You have to go deeper, like 2 levels deeper, and then you're going to get to really what moves their hearts. And when you can compensate towards, when you can adjust, right? Fair and equal are 2 different things, right? You can have the same monetary application applied in a wide variety of ways to create a compensation program that's adapted to those WIFMs of your people, right? And it's so cool. We had another case actually from our own team, and one of our team members, one of her great desires was to get out of debt from her college career. And she had been carrying it for a long time. And so we just renamed her bonus to a debt liberation bonus. And she was like, oh my gosh, this is what I've always wanted. Same amount of money, just called in a different word. And now it spoke to what she desired and how she was giving purpose to earning that bonus. And of course, there were KPIs attached to how you earn it, but being able to sometimes simply change a naming convention tailor-made to a person makes all the difference in the world.
It's insightful and creative.
Yeah. And it worked like charm. It's amazing. Those inner motivations are super valuable. So Well, Rick, I've loved chatting with you, and we could just jam all day long. We knew this since the bus
Right.
all those years ago, but we've got to wrap it up here. But let's take it to my favorite question. And for those of you listening at home, you know this is our flagship question, and I have to ask it every time. So, with all the highs and lows, the unexpected gifts, the unexpected challenges, Rick, do you consider yourself to be successful?
Yes, I would say that. I would say I've been successful in building an organization that is going to last, is going
Mhm.
to provide a platform for my employees to thrive, going to take care of our customers, our employees, and our supply chain, our partners
Mhm.
that manufacture the products we sell. And that's what we're here for. That's what we're all about. And I've continued to stay focused on that as I've built the business, and it's paid dividends.
Yeah, I love that. What is it that makes you have such a passion for creating that sense of providership across the customer, employee, and supply chain? That's a unique perspective. Is there something that drives that?
Well, we sat down and did a value statement and decided that those were the things that were most important to our business. We're a
Mhm.
distributor, right? So that's where we fit in the middle, and we've got to then continue to bring value, like our installation services. We're a portfolio company that has a broad portfolio of products that we sell. So we're not out selling something just for the sake of pushing that product. We're a solution provider where we've got a portfolio of products and we work hard to find the right solution for our customers. It's consultative sales, providing hopefully the right solution for the right challenge.
So, one of the things that I delight in the most is backwards engineering a success algorithm for each one of my guests. I think we're missing something in yours, but I have three component parts that I have added into your little algorithm. So, I want to share it with you. And then let's see if there's anything more that needs to be added to make it feel complete. So, for Rick Locke, success equals building something enduring, plus creating lasting value for customers, employee, and across the supply chain, and maintaining solution oriented aspect. Seems like we're missing a component part that in there. What do you think is
Well, there
missing?
was one, I bet, and I needed to get to a where I could bring my two sons into the business. My oldest son was a very successful engineer for a high tech company, making a lot of money in Silicon Valley. Boy, to compel him to come to a small business was challenging from
Mm,
a compensation standpoint. So I had to
yeah,
get to a big enough and successful enough company to afford him and to make it compelling for him.
I love it.
Both of my sons work in other places. They're both here now, and we're working towards what a transition looks like right now.
I love it.
Years. And so building something that was compelling for them, both from a revenue and profit standpoint and from a great place to work, great products to sell, was really important.
Okay, now I have
A
it.
personal family legacy.
Yes, I love it. Okay, now I have the whole picture. And I pulled also from a couple of different features of our chat. And now I think I have the whole algorithm. So let's try it again. All right. For Rick, success equals building something enduring, creating lasting value for customers, employees, and across the supply chain, maintaining a solution oriented aspect, providing compelling opportunities for family involvement, staying on the cutting edge, and capacity to give back.
Wow, you got them all. It's
Ah,
beautiful. Madeline, thank you.
yes, I love it. Each of my guests has such a unique flavor that you bring into what your definition is, right? And that providing that compelling opportunity for family, that means was a big work. I mean, you
Yeah,
had to make the business big enough, had to make it dynamic, had all the component parts, and then staying on the cutting edge. That's your product passion that you happened upon, didn't even know that was a thing in your corporate career, didn't even know that. And then giving back, that represents also your positions on boards and how you've stayed involved in the industry from day one. Well, I love it. This is
thank
so
you.
wonderful. My pleasure. Thank you. I'm so delighted to have had you on the show and to be able to jam really hard about being able to attach ourselves to the right employees by understanding values and drivers, by making sure that you are really engaged in your industry, understanding the dynamics of your market, and just how you apply it in this really clear minded way, bringing these professional structures and disciplines right into the world of small business has been really beautiful. Thank you for sharing it with us.
Thank you, Madeline. It's been great. It's great to get the
Oh,
clarity.
yeah, fun. So, if people want to follow you more, learn more about what you do, where can they find you or your companies?
Well, I personally am on LinkedIn, Rick Locke, or any of our company websites. Windowshowroom.com is the place to start. And we could
Okay.
link to all the other companies and locations from there.
Beautiful. But we'll link those in the show notes for you so that it's easy to find. Thanks again for being on the show, Rick. I've so loved having you. And for those of you listening at home, I want you to pause for a moment and consider, where are those really simple gifts that you're bringing to the table that you may have taken for granted? Where are the areas where you have acumen from a professional career or a corporate career prior, or where you have experience from something else that you can apply in your business today that you might not have been thinking through? Because sometimes our greatest gifts are hiding right there in the details, and we get so caught up into the daily grind, into the running of the interviews, into all the different things, that we forget to look for where those little moments that are going to separate us from our capacity just to be average to something that's going to be fabulous. So, my friends, thank you so much. And till the next time, catch you on the next episode. Bye for now.
Thank you, Madeleine.
That's a wrap for today's episode of Bold Enough. Every conversation on this show is an invitation to look at yourself honestly. Consider ambition, leadership, growth, and the kind of success you're truly trying to build. If this conversation resonated with you, be sure to follow the show and share it with someone who also needs it. Come back for more conversations about what success really asks of us and to see the fine-tuned details of every algorithm. I'm Madeleine MacRae, and I'll catch you the next time.